Hi, I'm Ariana with Fresh Pair of Eyes. How are both of you?
Oh, well, Ariana, how are
Well,
you?
hello
Oh.
to you, Ariana.
So Henry seems to have a lot to prove to their father. Why doesn't Blaze trust Henry? And why do you think Henry still wants his approval, or do you think Henry's over it at this point?
Oh, yes. For one reason why I think that, Blaze may have trouble trusting, Henry is because Henry is a risky individual. Henry likes to gamble. Henry's can be sloppy and can be messy. And that's usually sometimes are big messes to clean up. Which is proof of like maybe you're not mature enough to run a business. Henry is still a very young adult, doesn't have a frontal lobe yet. So thinking and decision making, is still something to be learned. Um, and for Henry, she wants her birthright. She wants what's hers. She is the only child. I mean, listen, her father molded her from the beginning. Yes, then let me have what is rightfully mine. And the struggle to obtain that, and the struggle for Henry to make or attempt to make her father, believe that.
Yeah. Christopher, what's kind of your point of view on that?
The reason I don't, as Blaze, fully trust my daughter Henrietta is because chaos follows all of her choices, or at least so many
Mhm.
of her choices, especially when I've given her the green light on, testing her ability to run an organization, which is mine. So if chaos is what comes about consistently, then that means there's going to be a consistent lack of trust.
True. I mean, Henry does carry around a sword. I don't know how trust with trying to make this impression. Uh, Rin, for you, I feel like often in these types of shows, we don't see people LGBTQIA plus in this level. And if we do, sexuality is really not a part of it. But we see Rin wrapping up. We see her in her sexuality. What was it like to be able to showcase it in this time period, but also in this type of show?
Honestly, it was nerve-wracking, but in a way that was very positive for me because if anything, I the research that I did in terms of how individuals moved and operated or presented during this time period when we didn't have all of the expansive language that we have today to include all different kinds of gender identities and sexualities. It was kind of like a history lesson for me as a trans individual. Like, oh, so this is what my queer elders, before me were doing, and specifically in terms of chest binding using an ace bandage because binders weren't a thing yet. And what masculine energy would decide to encapsulate, and how that translates how Henry has sex with individuals and who she has sex with, and what that looked like. It's a very I think for people who aren't familiar with queer identities or who are maybe straight themselves and just haven't had a lot of experience with queer people, I think it will be something that they didn't know that they didn't know.
Yes. We see that Blaze is kind of like a board member. He's a bit promoted in the sense that he's removed from kind of the day-to-day dealings of the streets. Does that protect him, or is there still enough drama because he's kind of a kingpin in a sense?
Well, we have to acknowledge the fact. So Blaze was previously on the force in narcotics. So you're talking about a wealth of street experience and knowledge that speaks for itself. So yes, now Blaze is the kingpin and overseeing everything, but this dynamic between the two of us, it's whoo, what Ren was just talking about in terms of uh, LGBTQ plus uh, issues and the understandable desire to be acknowledged. That's for Blaze a confusing issue. It's about a lack of experience with it and a lack of knowledge. And that's why I think it's so important that this issue is being addressed and the way that it's set up with the conflict, I think it's going to really stir up a lot of important conversations. So there's a lot of value in that.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see that. And congrats on this season. I can't wait to talk to you guys about future projects.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.